Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Greatness. So we want to talk to you about what you're going to have to do in order to survive what's coming. A lot of you who are in business now will no longer be in business in the not too distant future as things continue to move in the direction that they're moving, short of some big change that we don't anticipate. And a select few of you will not only survive, but you're going to learn to adapt. You're going to thrive. You see these gurus out there that are telling you, just do what I did, you can have the same results that I did, are not being realistic. They don't see what's coming. They're not preparing. Guys, if you're the prepper type, you're probably cut from a similar cloth to myself. We have made steps to prepare for difficult times at home. But you're also going to have to do this at work. Business is not just going to stop, but it is going to change significantly. For that reason, I want to give you more than just a recipe. I've decided to take this channel, if you start watching more of, and I'm going to give you more and more solutions. So whether you are a paying customer of mine or just a subscriber, you're going to learn to do these things, at least for yourself, so that you can have the results that you need in order to survive and hopefully thrive with what's coming about. Okay, so when I was 15 years old, I was in driver's ed class. I'll start with that. My teacher, he had a very strong belief that he didn't think anybody should be behind the wheel of a car unless they understood a little bit about the mechanics of it, how to change a flat tire, how to know when certain things are wrong with your car, how to check your oil levels, fluid levels, water, things like that. And it was really interesting because that was very useful to me later because I bought junky cars. I had to change the tires. I had to change my own spark plugs. I had to check my oil and make sure the thing was running so it didn't blow my engine up. It's a similar thing with your business. You may be saying, Pete, just give me the model, show me how to drive it, give me the basic instructions, and I'll get there on my own. Guys, it's not a set model. Okay? The model that has worked up until now is not going to work going into the future. What we want to do is understand all these things and how they work so that you can adjust your own recipe as you go and you stay ahead of your competition. Everybody's looking for what to do, but they're not really considering why they need to do it and how they need to do it in order to be successful. Okay, so here's the reality of it. If we look at today's market, we're seeing a transition. Homeowners, they have less discretionary money. They are making decisions based on that. We are seeing a percentage of people that are saying, you know what, I think I'll just repair. Can you just get it going for me? Can you make it last another year or two? Heating and air conditioning contractors are having to adjust accordingly based on what the homeowners think that they want. Now, what we need to do is understand how this is all playing out and understand that when one customer says to you, you're too high, that doesn't mean that you're too high. When one customer tells you we don't have the money to replace, that doesn't mean that everybody falls into that category and they don't have the money to replace either. So what we need to do is understand the different segments of your customers and that customers are different. They're all different. I mean, we can categorize and group them where they have things in common so that we can go in and create strategies to appeal to that. But guys, when I get into the philosophy of this, it isn't just to waste your time. The reason we're doing this is I want you to know how to adjust. I want you to know what to measure and how to respond accordingly. Okay, so one study came back showing that with the change recently, about 25% of what was a normal equipment purchase has moved down to the value line, to the cheaper equipment. There was another group of contractors that said about 30% of their equipment replacements moved up to the premium line, more efficient, better warranties and things like this. And so the one thing to keep in mind is that contractors who are different attract different customer types. If you are getting a lot of money complaints, if you are getting a lot of value line replacements, it is because of how you're being perceived and who you are attracting. It doesn't matter how great you are. What matters is how you are perceived. Now, if you adjust that perception and somehow figure out how to be perceived as the best, not just another heating and air, but a superior version that attracts people who want to make an investment long term versus an upfront expense reduction. So there's people who are focused on what is it going to cost me today, and there's people who are going to be considering, okay, I've got tough times coming. What is this going to cost me to own over a long period of time? Do I pay a little bit more up front and save money in the long run, or do I go cheap on the front end and throw caution to the wind? Your experience-based customers will recognize this, and you will not get them. Look, if you're a one-man operation, if you're small, like I was, I've been through the stages. If you're a one-man operation and you're not professionally packaged, you're not going to attract the high-end customers. They see you through their lens of experience. And experience has taught them that high-end services, high-end professionals look like high-end professionals and high-end services. And those who look like everybody else do so because they are like everybody else. I know that's not fair. I know that's not accurate. So do you. But they don't know how to measure you in terms of the quality of the work that you do. Are you doing a proper assessment? Are you considering everything about my home so that in the long term I can be better off? Or are you just looking to make a quick buck and move on to the next customer? So with the change that's coming, you're going to see an increase in ego, in self. I'm worried about me. You're going to see it in your competition. That means the bigger companies are going to be me, me, me. We need to hold our profits. I need you guys to get out there and sell more. They're going to push their team to sell more. The customers are going to be me, 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 and they're going to get tired of that. And they're not going to want to deal with that type of service because they're worried about themselves. They're worried about their future finances and their investment, what investment they're making and who they're partnering with. Are you just out to make a buck off of me? Or are you going to be somebody that I can consider part of my circle of trust that I can call on whenever I need? What that requires is the ability to position yourself, stop using tactics, sales tactics, pressure, and just BS crap that a lot of these are teaching. Guys, don't do that stuff. If you want be perceived as the best choice for heating and air conditioning, then become the best choice for heating and air conditioning. Okay, you got to learn to package yourself right. Okay, you don't go out on a date trying to date a beautiful woman just saying, hey, she needs to accept me for who I am, and you're wearing your flip-flops and bathrobe and you didn't shave this morning. Guys, you need to be the best version of yourself. You need to understand that there's the true you, the ego, and then there's the persona that you're projecting, and somewhere in the middle is that authentic version of yourself, or at least that persona version of the authentic, right? The way that you want to be perceived. And the truer it is to who you are, the more congruent it is, and then the easier it is going to be for you. So what does this mean? Well, first of all, we're going to have to understand what these pressures are doing to your prospective customers, how they naturally react. Just fix it. What's the cheapest equipment you've got? Things like this. And we're going to have to understand not just what they think they want, what their true values are, and what they would really want if they understood it like you do. And then we have to figure out a way communicate that in a way that not only builds trust in your competency, but it builds trust in your word, moral trust that you're going to do right by that customer. And at this point, you can create a relationship of trust. You step into their circle of trust, and once you're in there, if you don't mess it up, you'll always be in there. But as a human being, as an individual, we can naturally do these things. But as a company, we have to follow a structure if we're going to be successful at this. So your first thing that you need to be considering is, what do you want to be known for? How do you want to be known in your market in terms of heating and air conditioning companies? If you want to be known as the best heating and air conditioning company, good luck with that. There's a lot of people that are trying to achieve the same thing. But if you wanted to be known for something very specific within that, some type of a specialist, we've got Dr. Heat Pump in Las Vegas. He is the heat pump specialist. He's been able to own the SEO on that. And now when he goes to market as the area's only certified heat pump specialist, of course he works on other things, but that's it. That's the segment that he's decided to specialize in. He is able to own that, and he can literally go head to head with these big mega companies over there in Vegas that have a lot more money than him and are advertising. He, as a small company, can come in and do a target advertising in order to win over a very specifically targeted customer. Okay, so what we need to do is realize, first of all, who we want to target. Do we want just anybody with a heating and air conditioning piece of equipment? Or do we want to avoid people who are just going to beat us up over price and just look for cheap, cheap, cheap? Maybe we want to look for somebody who's looking to invest in higher end equipment. They're looking to build a relationship with somebody they can trust. Guys, heating and air conditioning is about like getting a haircut, okay? You can put it off and put it off, but eventually you're going to have to get your hair cut. Eventually that equipment's going to have to be replaced. You need to position yourself into that circle of trust, and you need to be there for them so that when that time comes, instead of changing every 12 years, maybe we're moving to changing every 15 or 16 years on the systems, whatever that looks like, you need to position yourself so that you are the choice. And it's not worth risking have one of these other companies out here step in and do what they know you'll do right. So what is your specialty? I mentioned product specific. It doesn't have to be product specific. Repair Bear is a repair specialist. If we can't fix it, nobody can fix it. If it's broke, we can fix it, because he knows that the consumers out there are going to think that they need it fixed, right? So that's his in. That's his way in. Then he can vet the customer and he can decide, is this the type of customer that we want to build a relationship with, or is this just another price shopper? Okay, so those are the tips to get you started. Stop following recipes blindly. Let's understand, what is the customer values? How have they changed? What are the expectations? How have they changed? What are their concerns? What new concerns have now surfaced and taken the front seat of the old concerns? What used to work will still work, but when it's blended in considering the new challenges faced by your customer base, you'll find out that you're going to need to adjust your strategy. You see, winning the customer over is a wonderful thing. Once they experience your services, if you have that dialed in, hopefully you can keep them. But getting that phone call to begin with requires that you do a strategy and you build a presence in your market. You're known for this one thing that your high-end customers realize they need, they want. They don't want regular heating and air Joe. They need you. Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. We're going to go farther into this in different ways. Stay tuned. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.